I have posted over 1,300 videos. I have posted over 1,300 videos. I've posted over 1,300 videos. Most of them, almost nobody watched. For years, I did every single thing the internet told me to. Show up, post daily, and be consistent because the algorithm rewards the grind. And this is the part that nobody admits out loud. The grind mostly doesn't work. Not because the advice itself is a lie. Not because the advice itself is a lie, but because not because the advice itself is a lie, but because it skips the one thing that actually moves the needle. I learned this the hardest, slowest, most painful way anybody could learn anything. 1,300 times failing. So in the next 12 minutes, I'm going to give you guys the exact formula. So in the next 12 minutes, I'm going to give you guys the shortcut that I learned over 6 years. The exact system to grow when you have no audience, no budget, and no name. The exact formula to grow when you have no audience, no budget, and no name. More importantly, 10 different places that these people are already hiding and want your business. Because we're all building something, whether it's a Claude Code project, a Shopify store, whether it's a Claude Code project, a Shopify store, a YouTube channel, we all want the same thing: to get a small piece of the biggest economy in the world. Human beings' attention. And by the end, you're going to understand the one thing key to this that every single builder skips. And the one that's actually costing you everything. First, let's start with the trap, because most likely you're in it right now. You're a builder. You're an entrepreneur. Building is the one thing you might actually be good at. So when your launch flops, when you release the app, the store, the video, you get 3 likes, and one of them is you or your co-founder. So what do you do from there? You go back, you look at it, and the most common answer is to build more. Another feature, a redesign of the platform. You tell yourself if you're just one more update better, people will just show up out of the wind. But honestly, what I've learned is they don't. Because your product, what you were selling, was never the problem. I've watched people ship, honestly, very shitty things in a weekend that's taken other people a year or more to perfect. And those people who waited got 0 users and were tens of thousands of dollars in the hole. I've done it myself. Our first AI company, Altura AI, didn't go anywhere because Claude Code. Our first AI company, Altura AI, cost us a year to build. And at the end of the day, Claude was 10 times better because they had a bigger team and they moved first. We had to redesign Altura AI just to keep up and realize that it wasn't about doing everything, it was about picking the one thing that mattered and then distributing the hell out of it to get it in front of the right people. the people that Claude really doesn't care about marketing to. And then I look across the table at some of my successful friends. Their products that they built within 5 days have pulled 100 paying customers in a month. The gap between those two, iterating forever and seeking perfectionism and getting things out the door, has a name. It's distribution. It's distribution. Getting your thing in front of people who will pay for it. And here's the uncomfortable truth about all of this. Distribution is like playing the piano. It's a skill. It's a learnable skill. Same as coding, right? And it's repeatable time and time again. That's why billionaires continue to make more money, because they have it down and they think with a distribution mindset. You spend 5 years mastering one skill and 0 on the other, more important skill, and then you wonder why your launch is empty. And the sad part is, for most of you, 9 out of 10 builders is the stat. That is the hidden cost. Every hour you get better at building or Claude coding or whatever you guys are doing is an hour you're not getting better at being seen. So today, we're going to fix that. 4 steps. And here's what you need to know. Step 1. Step 1 is called the 10 places. Step 1 is called the 10 places. And it goes like this. Your perfect users are most likely hiding in one of 10 different places. And the spoiler is, none of them are your social media feed. Again, we're talking about your first 10 users. Your first 100 users are hiding in a million places, but most of them are not your social media feed. Your first 100 users are hiding in 10 different places. And spoiler, none of them are your social media feed. Here's why. When you posted your product to your followers, like I did many times and abused my Snapchat, you're posting to people who followed you for you and not for your business. That's the wrong room entirely. And you're actually going to lose connections in your life because they're just going to see you as spammy. I have done that. You need to be in rooms where people show up specifically for the new products. Somewhere where the intent is really high. You're not walking in convincing people to care, they already do. So the first thing you could do is get into marketplaces. Altura Society you can go to Upwork, you can go to Fiverr, you can go to Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, whatever it is, but get yourself on a platform that's built to distribute you naturally. The best one, obviously, is Altura Society because it's been built specifically for people that build on the internet to take your project or your app, your website, put it in, and actually distribute within an hour. Our AI, our systems will match you with buyers that are predetermined to have bias to buy. And we will actually do the work to put you in front of these people. All you have to do is sit back, set up your company, and it takes care of the work for you. You guys can also go to other areas like niche communities. You guys can also go other places like niche subreddits or communities for your ideal user on platforms like Indie Hacker. Additionally, you can do things like join Slack or Discord groups. I like I like targeting the "what are you building" threads because people genuinely want to hear about different projects because they want inspiration. And if yours is just cool enough, they might just click that link and see what they can learn about it. Some other good ones are comparison and alternative sites, product of the day platforms. You have Product Hunt, amazing platforms to get yourself seen as you walk out the door. The rule here, though, is 10 in 10. Your product should be listed in 10 of these by the 10th of the month. Your product should be listed in 10 of these places within 10 days of launch. And again, I really love platforms like Product Hunt because you can actually prepare your launch, and the day it opens up to the public, there's already a wait list of people that find it, and if it's exciting enough, will purchase at no cost. So why 10 and not 1? Because going all in on one listing is the equivalent of you buying a lottery ticket. 10 becomes over time a footprint and data. And here's the compounding part that nobody tells you. Listings like Reddit posts or Altura Marketplace, they become permanent. The directory, right, that matchmakes you, especially our own AI, is still sending you a list of buyers within 6 months from now. And that's way longer after your tweet died in Twitter. That directory link, our AI systems on Altura are still sending you qualified buyers after 6 months instead of the Twitter link that died within 90 minutes. We're not just chasing a spike here and trying to post something on our story we're not just trying to chase a quick spike and post to people that only care about you and not your business. We're building infrastructure. This takes us into step 2. Step 2 is what I like to call borrow the audience. Step 2, more importantly, is the one that actually moved our numbers at Altura for the first time. And trust me, building a community platform instead of just a quick software as a subscription or SaaS business is way harder because our value is backed by people who care consistently instead of just somebody who needs a service done. So when I say listen to me on this, we had it way harder, and this will work for you. But I'm going to warn you, this step is the one you're going to resist against the most. And it's called borrowed audiences for a reason. Somebody out there has already spent maybe 5 years building the exact audience that you need right now. The newsletter writer, the podcaster, the account that amplifies builders. You have been trying to become that person that has it all from day one of your launch. And in 2026, I have one word: stop. In the year that we're in, you don't get your first 100 users by trying to build an audience from scratch. You build it by partnering with people and systems that already have it. You get featured by the ones that already exist. And here's the reframe that I think changes all of this. You think asking for a feature from somebody is the same as begging, or you think it's going to be expensive. It's really not, as long as the idea is good. Every newsletter needs content every single week. Every single roundup needs products to round up. Every podcast like ours needs guests. you guys are not a favor. You're actually the supply that these influencers, that these communities are looking for. Heck, I'd love to have you on our podcast inside of Altura. All you have to do is DM me and I might pull you up. So the play becomes pretty concrete from this. Find 5 newsletters. Go on the internet and search your niche and find different niche communities that send out newsletters on your topic. More so, find 5 Instagram accounts or Twitter accounts, as well as 2 different podcasts that specialize in the same type of field you are. So let's say you're building an app on Claude Code. Find somebody that features Claude Code builders like our podcast. And more so, look at who these podcasts and the content that's produced is talking to. Is this somebody that your customer would appreciate? Not somebody who you necessarily like, but the person you're building for would. That's 12 different targets I just gave you. DM them and pitch each of them in about 2 sentences. That's all it takes. What is your business, why their audience should care, and how you could add value to their program or their content. Not just the same thing I see every day, which is please feature me. Not the same thing I see every day, which is please feature me. I promise we have a great idea. That's not how it works. Just simply, here's a thing I think your people would want to know exists. Check it out. I promise if you do this once a week, 2 people will eventually say yes. And 2 different features to real warm audiences, even if you have to pay $20 maybe for a post. That will guaranteed perform 90 days of you posting every single day to an empty feed. I know because I've spent that same 90 days many, many, many times over. Because I can tell you 1,300 divided by 90 is a lot of 3-month stretches. This, and what I'm telling you here, is the shortcut I wish I had a couple years ago. This rolls up into our 3rd step. 5 DMs a day. And before you flinch, I know you hear this advice a lot, stay with me. This is not spam. Spam is blasting strangers. This is warm, and this is the difference that actually works. Someone in your community or our community asks you a product question that actually makes sense. Somebody in a community like Reddit or Altura that we have asks a question about something your product actually answers. I like doing this on Twitter too. That's a DM directly to that person. Because they asked for it. They said, hey, I was looking for this answer. You can come in and say, I noticed that, and this might be something you should check out. Better yet, offer them a 10-20% discount to show you're on their side. Better yet, find competitors to your product. A competitor to Altura AI was Claude. Find somebody frustrated about the features or the maybe privacy factors that, for our case, we had to find somebody that was convinced that there were issues with the privacy of Claude or ChatGPT. And we've targeted them to say, hey, we keep everything inside of our company. We don't have multi-billion-dollar partners. All of your data stays in one spot. The key thing here is you're not interrupting, so don't go into it feeling like you're burdening them. You're actually showing up exactly where their need got spoken the loudest. You're actually right where the person's need got spoken out loud, and I promise you most of the time they're going to appreciate that. The template that I would use is about 3 lines long for this. Line 1, I saw you said the specific thing they said. Line 2, I built one sentence, something like a product that actually matchmakes you with the right audiences and distributes your product on the marketplace for you. That would be Altura. Line 3, call to action. Do you want the link? I'll send it over, and if you're interested, here's a 10% discount code. That's it. There's no pitch deck, there's no getting on a Zoom call. It doesn't have to be that deep. 5 a day is 150 a month, and if you have a 1 to 2% conversion ratio, that's about 3 to 5 customers if you really hit it out of the park. Even a 10% basic reply rate is at least 15 conversations, and you can actually get people to check out your product and give you the most important thing that you couldn't pay for at this stage: advice. Now, they didn't build your company, but these people will tell you their thoughts, and if you're being honest with them, they'll a lot of times tell you the things that might be confusing to them, or the one detail you need to hammer out to win them over as well as your next customer. So pay attention to the conversation. And again, those 15 conversations become your first testimonials, your first users, and honestly, your entire first early product community. The feedback here is worth way more than the sign-up, so care genuinely about the conversation. Step 4, and this is the one that I think separates the people who make it from the people who quit within 2 weeks. I call it read the receipts. Every week, you need to track 3 types of data per channel: views, clicks, and replies. And the best thing to do this on is your actual website. And the best thing to do this on is whatever social media account you use primarily, like YouTube or Instagram. The loop here is simple. List your product, borrow the advice and the usage from the people who actually make an audience like us, DM people who show genuine interest in your product directly or just the topic, and then this step we're on here, which is the receipt. Most people run through the first 3 steps and getting into conversations, but they never get to that 4th. And that causes them 7 days after they start to feel nothing and get unmotivated and quit. Because there's nothing to compare against your starting 0 ground. Well, if they meanwhile, if they actually looked at the data, they would see one source driving 40 clicks per week, and that is motivating. That is something to double down on. But most of the time, you will quit right before the signal hits. And I promise you, there are diamonds on the other side of that mound. You guys have seen the meme. Distribution isn't just simply a launch. It's a loop. List, borrow from what works. List, borrow an audience, DM, figure out the kinks, and gather the receipt. And do it all in a loop that compounds while cutting the stuff that isn't working. If you do that every week, that is 100% the whole skill. Now, doing it in real practice is harder, which is why we have a free community for you. I will say though, it's not sexy, and most of us want the social media lifestyle where we make it in 3 to 6 months. But most likely it's going to take you at least 2 years. It's like real estate, right? It's a system that takes a while, but if done properly, it is almost guaranteed to work. And systems beat talent every single time. Now, let's have a real talk. Everything, and I can promise you, everything that I gave you works. It's exactly how products get their first 100 users within weeks. And if you follow it, I promise you, you will get it. This has happened in our community many, many times over. But here's what I also know because I've lived it. It's probably 4 to 6 hours a week of honestly the least fun you'll ever have. Submitting listings, writing DMs, writing replies, looking at analytics. Starting at the click numbers. Most people aren't going to do that because they're lazy. And more so because they'd honestly just rather build their product and never ship anything. Because the building is what makes them the entrepreneur, not the success immediately after or lack thereof. It's easy to escape back into building. If you never ship, you can never fail. But if you never ship, you never make money. That's the exact trap that cost me 1,300 videos, and I'm disappointed with it, but I'm glad that I learned the lesson. The work that matters, as you know and could guess, is the work that you always least want to do, and we have to do it. So my partner Anthony and I built the machine that actually does the work for you. It's there to make your work easier and to focus on the distribution problem solving so you can breeze through the annoying parts as fast as possible. It's not another course, it's a genuine painkiller instead of a vitamin. The actual system itself running on your behalf and figuring out how to solve the exact problem of distribution for whatever specific company you have, not just a generic course that isn't applicable half the time. It's called Altura Pro. If you guys remember Altura Society that we've mentioned, that is where you go, alturasociety.com. And Altura AI that we've mentioned is the brain powering up the recommendations of what you should do to actually make money with your specific situation. You launch on Altura, and if you're especially a pro member, you get featured at the top of the marketplace of thousands of builders who are interested in learning about the newest tech. That's step one, and it's free to at least get out there. Then we run step two for you. Your launch goes in our email roundup. It could get amplified from our own account or featured on our podcast. That's borrowed distribution handed to you because as long as you guys are members, we care about your success and we will push you out on platforms like this. Our matchmaking, which is kind of like Tinder, where it pairs you with the best people for your product, puts you first in line and recommends you to other people through AI, through web searching, whatever is needed. That's the DM engine we talked about, automated in your favor because you have the advantage of having something somebody else wants. And within 24 hours of your specific launch, you get a launch kit, your specific thread, your conversations, your posts, your DM templates, all things like this, written and provided for you by our own AI. Step 3, done. Then every month, step 4, the receipt comes in. The views, the clicks, the matches, the opens of your messages. Step 4 lands in your inbox on our same platform. No vibes, no, we think you're making it. Hard physical evidence. And the founding rate, if you guys want everything included, is 15 bucks, or you can choose not to pay. But either way, you become part of our family and we care about your success. And I can tell you the rate will go up from 15 to a very expensive price because this is proprietary technology. And the amount of value we give you is the equivalent of having Claude and ChatGPT partnered together working on your company in real time. And since it will go up, if you pay $15 and get in, that rate locks in even if we charge $50 in a year. And of course, without mentioning it, one customer for you should pay for your subscription. So we solved the hard problem, and you getting your first customer basically pays for the route anyway. And then you stack it many, many more times over. So what's the takeaway here? If you guys would rather run the system yourself, well then hopefully those steps we talked about should do it for you. Screenshot the 4 steps, go back and watch the video, and then go execute. Genuinely, I am actually rooting for you. But if you'd rather keep building while having a machine and a system do it for you, to a community primed to buy your stuff, then that's why we made AlturaSociety.com. The link's going to be down below in this video or attached if you want to check it out. You shipped it, and this time, using the right strategies, people actually came. And at the end of the day, that's what leads to success. We'll see you inside. Have a great night. And as always, I'm rooting for you. Take care.